Most fans don't know that Palpatine's Sith Master, Darth Plagueis the Wise, was actually still alive and fully active during the events of the Phantom Menace, at least in the Legends continuity. The two Sith Lords worked from the shadows to orchestrate the blockade of Naboo and ensure Palpatine's nomination to become the next Supreme Chancellor. As they watched the events on Naboo unfold, both Plagueis and Palpatine became aware of a young boy discovered by the Jedi, who was rumored to be their prophesied Chosen One, destined to bring balance to the Force. Learning of Anakin Skywalker, Plagueis became terrified, wondering if the Force itself had worked to undo 1,000 years of planning by the Sith. However, because of his own actions years earlier and his experiments with the midichlorians, Plagueis believed that he played a part in Anakin's destiny, and this is revealed in the Legends novel Darth Plagueis. It was Palpatine that first learned of the supposed Chosen One from Master Dooku. The two had discreetly become friends, and Dooku confided in Palpatine, telling him of his plans to leave the Jedi Order, and of the disturbing report that Qui-Gon Jinn had provided to the Council. Dooku told Palpatine that Qui-Gon had found a young boy on Tatooine, and the boy was said to have no father. It was possible that this boy was conceived by the Force. Dooku explained that such information had everything to do with an ancient prophecy of the Chosen One, and that Qui-Gon believed the boy stood at a vergence in the Force, and that Anakin's midichlorian count was unprecedented. When Palpatine asked him what the Jedi knew of Anakin's past, Dooku said they only knew that he had been born into slavery 9 years earlier. At hearing this, Palpatine's thoughts became distracted at learning Anakin was 9 years old, rumored to be conceived by the Force. To his horror, he wondered if he and Plagueis were indirectly responsible for Anakin's creation. 9 years earlier, around the time that Anakin would have been born, Plagueis and Palpatine had succeeded in willing the Force to shift and tip towards the dark side. It was a tangible alteration that could be felt by anyone strong in the Force, as they pushed the Force further out of balance. It was the outcome of months of intense meditation, as they suffused the galaxy with the power of the dark side. At their own mortal peril, the two Sith Lords had waged a war against the Force, bringing the full power of their wills to bear and asserting their sovereignty over the Force. At the time, they believed that the Force had yielded to them, and the light side dipped as the dark side ascended. Drunk on his own power, Plagueis had gone one step further, usurping the natural order of life and the will of the cosmic force. By this time, Plagueis had already gained the power to resurrect dead beings by manipulating their midichlorians, but he was still not satisfied, so he attempted an even more unthinkable act. He tried to bring into being a creation of his own, to initiate the birth of a forceful being. While he was proud to be able to manipulate death, it was not the same as having the power of pure creation, so he stretched out with his powers to touch all of the midichlorians in the galaxy. But it didn't work. The Force grew silent to him. Now, 9 years later, Plagueis learned of Anakin's existence from Palpatine, and he rushed to meet the young boy on Coruscant. Anakin had been brought to the capital planet by Qui-Gon, and had been staying in Palpatine's suite. Plagueis had to see this Anakin Skywalker for himself, to sense him in the Force. He had to know if the Force had struck back at him 9 years earlier, conceiving a human to restore balance to the galaxy. However, he was too late, as Anakin had already been taken to the Jedi Temple to meet the High Council. Concerned and fearful, Plagueis wondered if the Sith had been undone, and if the Force itself had worked against them. He thought that he was directly responsible for Anakin's creation. Sometime later, Plagueis made his way onto a public observatory that provided him a view of Queen Amidala's starship. He watched as Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Anakin walked along the platform. Plagueis observed Qui-Gon kneel to Anakin's level and engage in a serious discussion. Intrigued, yet also concerned, Plagueis stretched out with the Force and was subjected to an assault of imagery, a vision of the future. He saw ferocious battles in deep space, the clashing of lightsabers, and a black-helmeted cyborg rising from an operating table. By the time he returned to himself, Qui-Gon and the boy were gone. Trying desperately to make sense of what he had seen, Plagueis watched as the Nubian starship climbed into the sky. He fought to repress the truth, but he knew that Anakin Skywalker would change the course of history. Unless he instructed the Sith assassin Maul to kill Qui-Gon in order to keep the boy from being trained. Plagueis knew that Qui-Gon was the key to everything, and he had to do everything in his power to stop Anakin from becoming a Jedi. Thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and may the Force be with you.